The definition of career counseling is much larger than just putting in applications for students. It is more than that. Is it the general trend in Kazakhstan and Central Asia?
In Kazakhstan, college counselors help students find their way, find their passion.
What is the aspiration now of youth in Kazakhstan and Central Asia?
Kazakhstani students, they are very active. When we open registration for any kind of events, in 2 days we reach the maximum limit.
What will be your advice to people who are looking at becoming career counselors and at early stages of their career? Hello, this is Ankur. I'm so excited as part of our series of podcasts which we are doing for Intersect at Masters Union. We have our second guest, Azamat from Kazakhstan. Azamat is one of the leading career counselors, teachers, educators, another change maker from Kazakhstan. I don't know how many of you know about Kazakhstan, but it's a beautiful country in Central Asia, bordering two big countries, Russia and China. It shares land border between these two great nations, and Kazakhstan itself, I've traveled there multiple times, has been one of the most interesting places for me to visit. Lot of opportunities and potential for that part of the world, for them to engage with Masters Union and India as a country. So I'm so excited that we have Azamat flying in all over the world from Almaty to Delhi to be here with us, and this will be a very interesting conversation with Azamat.
Thank you, Ankur, for having me here, and thank you very much for your kind words about Kazakhstan.
Azmat, we are so happy, and I personally have known you for last 5 years. I've been following your work, and as I say every time I meet you, you are somebody who is acting as a link between Kazakhstan and not only Kazakhstan, Central Asia. I mean, where English is not the lingua franca or not widely spoken because of the Soviet history of that part of the world, but you are somebody that has opened the world to not only the students but also the educators and the institutions in Kazakhstan and Central Asia. To start with, I'd love to understand, how did teaching happen to you? How did you reach where you are today? What was the first role ever as a teacher that you had? And subsequently, you are now working as one of the leading career counselors in that part of the world. What was that journey like?
Thank you very much for the question. So I've been in teaching industry for over the past 17 years. So I started teaching at schools, teaching English. Then right now I'm a college counselor, career counselor, supervising a group of schools, which includes like 52 schools across the country.
Okay.
So I lead the college and career counseling department. Also, I'm the director of the International Partnerships Office at BILIM-INNOVATION International Community Fund, which is a non-government, non-profit educational organization existing for over the 30 years in Kazakhstan, which is the leading organization in Kazakhstan. So right now I am leading the department, and in my role I supervise like 60 counselors in these schools.
Wow. So there are 52 schools,
52 schools, yeah.
and you are the head of career counseling for those entire
Yes,
52 schools.
52
And how
schools.
many career counselors work with you?
60 career counselors. So like
Wow, that's a big
it
number.
depends on the school size, I mean the student size, but one school has at least one college counselor. Yeah.
Amazing. And these career counselors will have how many students? I mean, across these 52 schools, how many students will have?
So one college counselor generally works with 200 students.
200
200
students.
students, yeah. So it depends if the school is like big. So one college counselor works with 400 students as well. So
Wow.
it depends. You asked like how I became college counselor, career
Yeah, you
counselor.
were an English teacher, you just
Yeah,
mentioned.
I was an English teacher. So like all the subject teachers, all the subject teachers at school, they have also additional responsibility, which is like homeroom teaching. So I was also homeroom teacher to my students. In their final year, all the students, they apply to universities,
Okay.
locally or internationally.
Yeah.
Then my school didn't have a college counselor.
Okay.
So, my students, they asked me, to write recommendation letters to help with Common Up, to help with other platforms, and to help to build the college list.
Yeah.
Then I started doing that.
Yeah.
Also, in addition to that, all this paperwork, I also organized, guest talks, like with the guests from different industries, to give career talks to help students to find majors. I was doing that, and my, let's say, the president of the fund that I mentioned earlier, the leadership board, they invited me to Astana, where head office is located, and then they, like told me to build a department which is college counseling.
Okay.
Actually, there was no department such as college and career counseling.
And until that, how much time had you spent in the role of a career counselor before you were
So
invited there?
it was like 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
And then
Then
you were invited to.
yeah, I think they noticed, like what I was doing, like all this stuff, industry trips, guest talks, expert talks, college applications, all this stuff, and they noticed this, and they invited me to build a department, and it was in 2018. At that time, many Kazakhstani students, they applied internationally as well,
Okay.
and they needed help, assistance with college applications internationally.
Yeah.
And those students who need assistance, they go to agencies. So the leadership board of the fund of my organization, they see that we need to have someone who helps students. Otherwise, they go to agencies, which is not bad, but still we have to help our students inside the school.
Yeah.
So I like built the department. I also collaborated with the institutions, like other institutions, including British Council, Education USA, and different educational agencies as well, to build the department, and assigned college counselors in all these schools. And since then, recruiting college counselors, educating them, training them, as you mentioned, nominating for the like flying programs,
Yeah, yeah. I met
training
a couple of
programs.
your
Yeah.
career counselors in international ACAC in Canada, and
Yeah,
they were
like-
telling me about you, how you nominated them for this, and I keep meeting them at various conferences.
Since 2018, we've organized many forums, like which focused on college applications, also networking events for students. Recently, we also organized, as for me, college and career counseling is not just helping students apply to
Absolutely.
universities. It's not just applying application.
Absolutely.
In our dictionary, I mean, in Kazakhstan, college counselors, they are the key position in schools that also help students find their way, find their passion. For that, we also organize any kind of activities for students outside the classrooms. There might be competitions, project hackathons. Recently we had it was in partnership with Masters Union, HSL High School Startup League.
Yeah.
So all this,
And even with Tetter, you just hosted
yeah,
Disrupt.
last week we hosted Disrupt, Tetra Disrupt. Typically, college counselors might say that we do only college application, but for us, it's not college application.
You are actually doing fantastic work, and I just wanted to touch upon that also. But before I do that, so you were an English teacher, and then you transitioned into being a career counselor, and now you lead a team of career counselors across the chain of schools that you represent. How has this journey been, and are you still an English teacher in your school?
I don't teach now,
Okay.
but I organize trainings for for my colleagues, for my counselor colleagues.
Yeah. How is the career, and you touched upon it, that career counselor in your definition, the definition of career counseling is much larger than just putting in applications for students. It is more than that. Is it the general trend in Kazakhstan and Central Asia that career counselors are expected to do?
That's a really good question, because generally in Kazakhstan, we don't have like official position, official title, which is like who does the college and career counseling. There's no such thing. Generally, this is done by one of the vice principals.
Okay.
Yeah. In our case, still, in most schools, college and career counseling is done voluntarily. The major role is for them is teaching their subjects. So outside subject hours, teachers, they do this job like career and college counseling. We encourage, college counselors, I mean, the subject teachers, do the not only college applications, also because we are the people who work with students, mainly with students in their final year. So we want students to come us well prepared for their career, for their universities. So if we are not engaged in earlier stage, we'll meet the students who are not well prepared. That's why we come up with this idea. We have to be engaged in earlier stages.
In earlier stages of their
Yes,
career. I
that's
mean,
why.
that's the story here also in
Yeah.
India, that we want the career counseling is still in nascent stage, but career counselors want early interventions, and starting from grade 9 onwards, they want to start helping students in building their profile,
Yes,
and
yeah.
starting to understand what does a university look like, what is the university application process, what are criteria. So I think, Azmat, I just want to spend a couple of more minutes here on the career counseling aspect of Kazakhstan and the larger Central Asia. What are the students like in? I mean, English is now fast catching
Growing.
up as a lingua franca in that part of the world, but generally it's been Russian as a language that has been spoken, or the local language of that country that you may come from. So, what is the aspiration now of youth in Kazakhstan and Central Asia? Are they looking towards going abroad? What is the general trend like for these students, or they want to stay closer home?
Generally, Kazakhstani youth, they are very active actually.
Hmm.
When we organize a college and career council, when we organize different activities outside the classrooms, whether it is like competitions mentioned like HSL, or different
I think in
activities.
HSL they won the competition, right? The
Yes,
high school startup league. They
high
were the
schools are,
top team that came
yeah,
out. Yeah.
two Kazakhstani teams.
Two
They
Kazakhstan
they
teams. That was amazing. And my team at which is hosting HSL used to tell me that these Kazakhstan kids are amazing, and thank you for opening
yeah.
this opportunity for us, because we had a whole different aspect. And by the way, that competition was a international level
Mm-hmm.
competition that we hosted at Masters Union. We had students from UAE, we had one
Yeah.
to Qatar, and we had Kazakhstan, and all over India, the top schools were competing. So I think I was really pleasantly surprised as somebody who has in the past worked with Kazakhstani students. It
Mm-hmm.
was almost 10 years back. I used to be quite a regular visitor to Astana and Almaty. I have seen that potential from the postgraduate students. I used to do with postgraduate students, but even at the high school level.
Yeah.
So I mean, so I'm so
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for that opportunity, for the platform.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, we want to create, we want to find, provide platforms for students. When we provide this kind of opportunities, Kazakhstani students, they are very, very active. They attend in many activities, in many extracurricular activities. When we open registration for any kind of events, in 2 days, we reach the maximum limit.
Wow.
Yeah. Whether it happened with HSL,
HSL also.
yeah, it happened with HSL, it happened with Teta Disrupt, it
Disrupt.
happens in different events as well. It seems like it is said Kazakhstani students, they are not just only smart, they are not just only academically high achievers, they are also very passionate about experiencing. Kazakhstani students, they tend to apply internationally.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I think one of the aspects that came out of HSL, and then another feedback from the team that was working closely with the students, very sincere, very smart, and hardworking, and very presentable. I mean, they were able to communicate well, even in English. I mean, they were very fluent. So I think overall, Kazakhstan has a lot of potential in terms of, and that's why we at Masters Union, and personally, in my own experience, I've always tried to connect with the community in Kazakhstan and Central Asia. But I just want to come back to you also. I mean, I saw you. I keep seeing you traveling all over the world. I mean, you were in China, I think, of last week, trying to open doors for your students and the community there. And then you are frequently now. I mean, the second time that you're coming to us at Masters Union, we are so happy that you are coming back. And again, with your career counselors, you're opening so many doors. What motivates you to do all this phenomenal work? How? What is that inspiration that you have? And we are so impressed and inspired by what you are doing. I'm personally, at a personal level, I'm so happy that you can do so much for the community. So what is that inspiration?
Thank you very much for your kind words. My mission is, I tell myself, whenever I go, I have to bring something good when I go back to Kazakhstan, whether it's for students or for my council colleagues or generally for educators. So for that reason, when someone invites me, and thank you very much for inviting me
Thank you so much for being here.
to Intersect. And when I was also coming here, I was thinking like I have to bring something from this event to Kazakhstan. And when I discussed this with the leadership board, and we decided to do the same Intersect format in Kazakhstan.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because I have never heard that there has been a similar event in
Okay, I'm so
Kazakhstan.
happy to
There
hear
has
that.
never been like bringing together
Industry and academy.
people from industry and academia. There has never been this such an event.
So happy to
So
hear
when I
that.
share this this format with my leadership board, they are very excited to do this, and for that we will need your expertise
No, we are most happy.
for your
We are
experience. Yeah,
always. I mean, both,
yeah.
both at a personal and professional capacity,
Yeah.
we are there for you.
And so yeah, as I mentioned, wherever I go, I want to bring something good. That's how we organized HSL. That's how we organized Theater
This
Lab.
trip.
And when I went to, as you mentioned, China, I explored the opportunities for my students, whether it is like summer programs or research programs at universities or scholarships for our students, or just organizing training, professional development for counselors. After my visit to China, we had delegation from Chinese universities
Wonderful.
in Astana. They visited our schools, and delivered presentations, right? And now principals, school principals, a group of school principals, they are traveling to China to explore further. This exploration brings something good. When I share all this stuff on LinkedIn, everybody thinks that I just do traveling.
Yeah, that is what we get. I mean, that is what we all have the
Yeah,
impression that Azmat is always on the move.
that's
Someday, somewhere, some part of the world, we see you. That is where, but that takes a lot of energy. I mean, having traveled to about 40 plus countries myself, I know there's a lot of hard work that goes into. It's not just you pick up bag and you are
yeah.
traveling. I mean, there is a lot of, as you said, you're always thinking about what is it that you can bring back to your community, and you have to do a lot of work before you start going on that trip, and you have to have those outcomes. I'm sure you do all that, so it's a lot of hard work. But yes, somebody who has not done a lot of travel for
Yeah.
work would understand that, yeah, he's everywhere. Let me be very honest about this. I have seen, I mean, again, personally, working in the education space, in the international education space for last 15 years, I have traveled to, as I said, 40 plus countries, thousands of schools, universities. I think you are the only person in that part of the world that I see actively as an educator trying to connect so many opportunities. And that's why you are the perfect person, because you're not only opening doors selfishly for yourself, you're also opening doors for so many other teachers and educators. It's not that it's always about you. I have to be at the second conference, third conference, fourth conference. I thought, when I saw that one of your teachers in Canada International ACC conference, and she said, that I was nominated by Azamat, I was so happy. I said, and that's when I thought of hosting Intersect last time around. I said I want to have Azamat at Masters Union, because it shows the depth of you as a human being, that you're so happy opening doors for not only your students but educators. And that's why God has been so kind on you, that you has given you more and more responsibility. In India, we say if you do good, there is lot more responsibility that God gives you. So keep doing it, keep inspiring us, and keep opening doors for students and educators in your part of the world. I mean, you are part of the international fraternity of educators, people who are doing some fantastic and inspiring work, Asmat. In the final part, I just want to close off by, there are a lot of career counselors that you are going to meet over the next 2 days at Intersect. There are about 100 plus institutions being represented and 10 plus countries, and there many of them are very young career counselors just stepping into the shoes of career counseling as somebody who is leading a team of 52 career counselors and has been doing this work for last so many years. What will be your advice to them? And I really loved what you had to say, that career counseling in Kazakhstan is not only about putting in applications, it's much more than that. You're actually transforming lives, and you have to have a holistic approach to career counseling. So what will be your advice to people who are looking at becoming career counselors and at early stages of their career?
When I started doing college and career counseling, so I understand that I cannot do it by myself. So
Absolutely.
I cannot. No one can do it by themselves.
Yeah.
So we need a support from people from in any industry. That's how I started. Networking. That's how I started. Meeting people from different industries in locally. Firstly locally, educational institutions, including Education USA, British Council, and others. Because we have to understand that if we need to succeed in to help our students, we need support from our
Absolutely.
uh,
The entire
colleagues.
community. It takes a
Yeah,
village to raise up a kid.
yeah,
Said
yeah.
you
It takes a village. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my advice would be to network.
Yes.
It's not just like networking is not only for self development.
Yes.
It's not
That
take
is such
something
important,
gain something from that person.
such an important
Yeah,
learning.
it's like we are doing all this stuff for our students, for our schools, and for also building meaningful connections, friendly connections as well. So how do I try to motivate my colleagues
Yeah.
back in Kazakhstan? If they do like only paperwork, after 2 years or 3 years, they will get bored.
Bored. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. They will get bored, and they will not do. They will stop doing this.
Yeah.
So if they want to, keep that passion, they have to do a job beyond that.
Yeah.
So it is getting actively engaged in students' life.
Yeah.
So it's not just paperwork.
Yeah.
It's advocating.
Advocating.
It's advocating students' needs
Yes.
in all the stages.
Yeah. I think absolutely. And I think the best of the career counselors have this motivation. It is like they are dealing with uh, human lives, and their work can have transformative impact on that life, and that can impact not only that individual but their whole generations of family. And also what you mentioned was, I love that thought that you should go out and put your work out there. You should go and network, but not only for selfish reasons. It always has to be for the community, for the larger good of the people. I so agree and resonate with what you just said. I think these are simple thoughts, but these are powerful thoughts. If somebody follows these, I think it will have a transformative impact on their own personal career also, apart from the community. Thank you so much for sharing those lessons with us. I think I had a great time talking to you, Azmat. We are looking forward to having you with us for the next couple of days at Intersect. And before I sign off, how was your experience at Intersect last time around, and what are you expecting this time for next couple of days?
Last time I was, as I said, like the first time I was introduced to the different format of the event. So I attended many different flying programs, many different conferences, forums, but that was my first time that I attended completely different format.
Yes.
And my sincere congratulations
Thank you so much.
succeeding to make that. This time, I hope I will see something different.
Yes, absolutely. We have a whole lineup of great content, great speakers, and great audience. I'm going to ensure that you have a great time, and we are all here for you at Masters Union. Thank you so much, Azmat. Pleasure talking to
Thank
you,
you.
and welcome to Masters Union.